try all of that again. We do apologize for our streaming issues. Something went wrong and we were apparently very pixelated and it wasn't working terribly well. So we were just driving around in silence for a little bit. I'm sort of hoping most of you got the gist of the introduction, but for those of you who missed out on it or not quite sure what it is we were saying, good morning, my name is Jamie, and this morning I have Brian Joubert on camera with me. The thumb did make an appearance, but I'm not entirely sure that anybody got to see it. So perhaps let us have the thumb return. Thumb looking very smart in his morning attire. You've got a black tie thumb this morning, feeling very serious. And it is, of course, a serious business because we've had the most extraordinary time yesterday afternoon on our very special Father's Day weekend sunset safari, where the animals, as I was telling a long saga, but I'll summarize it quickly because I've already said it now once, the animals provided us with the most incredible spectacle. Now, we are racing off towards the Vuyatela Dam because the monkeys are alarm calling and shouting. And I think it might mean that Mvula is somewhere in the area. So while we go and check, let's head over to Brent so he can say good morning to you all.
Welcome to this spectacular sunrise safari. My name is Brent, I have Jean-Andre on camera, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tongue-tied after yesterday, but what an incredible sunset safari we had. I mean, it's beyond words almost, but hopefully we'll do it all again today. I can't guarantee I'm not going to get that excited again, I just might, but today we've got a special guest on the vehicle. Apart from Jean-Andre sitting behind me, we've got the man who makes a lot of the jigamajags and thingamabobs and whatnots and if-whats work that sends you this glorious picture from the African bush, and it is Mr. Peter Brass.
Hello everyone, good to be in the vehicle for once and looking out for everything, but enjoying it and hoping that Brent does his magic again this morning.
Here we go, so Pete's along for the ride today. We are on our way down to Cheetah Plains. We actually haven't checked down there for quite a while. I think it's worth just going to have a little squiz and check on the tracks. Maybe the cheetah make an appearance. Maybe Nkanyini makes an appearance. And our tracking team is working on Vuyatela at the moment. They're also going to go check for Sindile and for Mvula. So hopefully there'll be cats out and about in a few short minutes. But of course you never know. A cat could just step on the road in front of us while we're ambling down towards the east. There we go. What an absolutely gorgeous morning. It's actually quite warm for once. And as you can see, I don't have my gloves and my scarf and all my other paraphernalia that I normally wear. And it is very warm. I guess, what do you reckon, Jean-Ray? 18? 17? Somewhere around there? But apparently it's 12 and 54. I don't know. I think it's definitely warmer than 12 degrees Celsius or 54 Fahrenheit. I think Final Control pushed the wrong weather button. Well, now they're saying it's 14. Final Control. Oh, it looks like Jean-Ray might have spotted some tracks. Let's have a quick look. I think we need some male lions for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. I think Jean-Andre might be chasing civet tracks again. Ah, there we go. Oh, Jean-Andre, well spotted. Jean-Andre is not in trouble. He often stops me for hyena and other creatures.
Lies.
This time he actually has stopped me for a leopard.
I'm trying to train you.
Yes, the best one is over there. You should be able to see it nicely. There. There we go, where my finger is. There, and a little bit to the left. There we go, right center of screen. Where's my finger? Let me show you with my finger. There we go. nice female leopard track. So this looks really, really fresh. So before we head to cheetah plains, let's go see cheetah cut line. It's all the cheetahs today. You just get hold of our tracking team. And while I do that, let's go see what Jamie's up to in the northwest.
In the northwest, we're currently seeking out the various water holes in this area. I've arrived at where the monkeys were said to be alarm calling, and it all sounds much more peaceful to me, but we were a little way away when they first started shouting. In general, one of the most reliable animals in the bush in terms of alerting you to the presence of an animal is a troop of monkeys. First of all, because they're up in the trees, therefore they've got a sort of a better overview of what's happening around them. And then second of all, they actually have exceptionally good eyesight. Just like, well, they're primates, just like we do. A vision that is very much sort of fixed on movement. Oh, goodness. Everybody hold on to your seats as we bump along. Second time I've been over this patch. I'm going to go and check the pan outside Galago. There's a whole river system that runs around the outside of the lodges, and it provides the perfect hiding places for a leopard. Mvula, as we know, has recently sort of become something of a nomad. He no longer, as far as we can tell, he no longer holds a territory per se, and he just spends his time trying to avoid the other dominant male leopards in the area, which means he's actually covering an enormous distance. That being said, I'm hopeful because I think he's hungry. I mean, I know he's hungry, and I think he might have made a kill last night. Now we're going to check, and then what if we don't have any luck here, then we'll go back and we'll check the remnants of that buffalo kill, because maybe he managed to score himself a leg or something. It was hilarious yesterday because he tried to get the carcass, and then he fed on it for a little bit, and then the hyenas came back to chase him away, and then one of them walked underneath him and around him with a buffalo leg in its mouth. And it was so, you could read the expressions of or at least the feelings of the animals so clearly, because it was almost like this hyena was parading it. And Mvula was in full-on furious cat mode with his tail thrashing. I actually, at one point, thought he was going to challenge the hyena for it. He didn't, which is a good thing. Obviously, we want him safe and sound, but I think the thought crossed his mind. But it was a very interesting example of the way in which our predators interact. And we see a lot of we talk about a lot of the violence and the competition and the fact that predators will kill each other if they have the chance. But the truth is, in a lot of ways, the predators are so used to encountering each other because, as you can imagine, a carcass is a magnet. And it's not just hyenas that are scavengers. Leopards scavenge, male lions are some of the biggest scavengers around. So they encounter each other frequently. And for the most part, it's not worth risking injury to try and harm the other predator. This is close to where the monkeys were calling, right outside the lodge. And all I can see in front of me is crisscrossing hyena tracks. Sorry guys, I'm just concentrating, trying to see if he's not hidden in here somewhere. There's so many hyena tracks that it's going to be very easy to miss out on a paw print. And on this special Father's Day weekend, James Richard has said that Tingana had better show his face so that we can all wish him a very happy Father's Day. Absolutely, Tingana is the dominant male leopard in the area at the moment. And hopefully he does decide to make an appearance. I honestly, James, I have absolutely no idea where he is right now. I don't even know what area he's in right now. So in general, that means that he could pop out at any moment, as we had with Mvula yesterday, but it could just as easily have been Tingana. It's the interesting thing about leopards, is they definitely keep us on our toes. Yes, and I think we do owe Tingana a happy Father's Day, after all of the aspersions that were cast upon his ability to father cubs in the time where he was mating with Shadow, Karula, Tundi, every female in the area essentially, which is how leopards breed. And yet none of them were falling pregnant initially, and there were definitely, by all of us, there was some speculation as to his abilities. He's clearly proved us all wrong, because there's a very high chance that he's fathered Karula, Shadow, maybe Tundi's cubs in the future. We still don't know where she is or if she's pregnant. Okay, this is interesting. Let's go and get a slightly easier view. Now here's an animal that's almost equally as reliable as the monkeys are. Kudu and Inyala, with their deep booming barks. And it really does sound like a bark. It is a bah sound. And he hasn't made a sound. Just bear with me for one moment. Tax is also helping me follow up on these alarm calls. Standing by, Tax. It's a negative, Tax. I haven't gone in there yet. I'm just checking around Galagopan and Vubu Vueteledam. Okay, copy, Tax. I think then what I'll do is I'll make my way straight there. Sorry everybody, just arranging a search party for this male leopard, because it seems as though Tax has picked up on his tracks going straight back to the site of that kill from yesterday. But here's our glorious male Inyala. Before we go rushing off and have to crash through the trees and bushes once again, I have to tell you, it's quite an experience getting to that kill site. We've got a beautiful comparison here between this male Inyala and then the female that is, whoopsie, sorry, my pom-pom has just made a very cameo appearance. The little female running across behind him, totally different. The antelope with the most extreme sexual dimorphism of any of the antelope that we see out here. Total color difference, light tan colored female and the dark grey brown male, and a very, very distinct size difference between a fully grown female on the left and a fully grown male on the right. Definitely one of my favorite antelope, one of the most attractive to look at. But while we go and follow up on that kill site, let's go across to Brent, who has a different and fluffier antelope for you.
Look how fluffy it is. They're definitely one of the cutest little baby antelopes, the waterbuck. And all the hair extended in the cold morning. I don't know, if I had to think about it, somewhere a cross between a llama and a kudu. And you have some impala in the background as it scooted past them. Now we've been watching this little one since it was about half this size. So Mom's doing a good job so far. Oh, whoops. That is an alarm. I apologize profusely.
Give me a six-pack, Brent.
Jean-Andre, a six-pack. Let's make sure there's no other alarms on. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, head shake there. They're moving down from the crests now that it's getting a bit warmer. They move up to the high ground to have a snooze during the night. It's just a couple of degrees warmer high up on the crest. Now they're going to spread out and start feeding throughout the bush here. I'm probably going to stick to this big seep line that runs parallel to Cheetah cut line. Nice grass there. Now the impala boys that Jean-Andre skipped past. There we go, Jean-Andre. Thank you. We're doing some quite interesting behavior there. Now they were using their pre-orbital, there we go, he's doing it again. His pre-orbital gland. Now that is a form of scent marking, even though the rut is over. So they are no longer really competing for ladies. And you'll see that the herds of impala will be mixed males and females now. There won't be nearly as much pandemonium and chasing and snorting and almost roaring, I suppose, around. So time to put away the competition until next year and it starts all over again. Oh, Joey in Australia is going to get himself into trouble. Now, Joey says, I think the baby waterbuck is as cute as Karula's cubs. Joey, I'm going to let you defend that. I'm not going to try. And we're going to keep moving now and start heading towards Cheetah Plains. Joey, good luck, by the way. Good luck. I think you're going to have a few people who are going to disagree. I just want to have a quick chat to Ephraim, who's there, and I think he might follow those leopard tracks that go into Torchwood. Okay. There's Ephraim. Well, there's in Conserva and Sati Ingo that go northeast into Torchwood from the sign there. I'm going to head towards Yondau. Very much left. So we're going to head down towards Cheetah Plains. You can see the sun is rising in the east. It is an absolutely gorgeous African winter's morning, and I'm hoping we're going to find a big cattle 5. We did 4 yesterday, so I think it's just we should do 5 today. You know, just one up it a little bit. Now, it is very exciting. I'm hoping all manner of creatures have come through to take advantage of the Cheetah Plains pan. Now, I heard last year during the dry season you get 200 or 300 zebra at a time coming out of the Kruger to drink. So even if we don't see any cats, just imagine that bedazzled, spectacular sighting of all those zebra. Now, the original colonial collective noun for a zebra is a dazzle. We all refer to them as herds, but the original colonial collective noun is a dazzle of zebra, and isn't that just fantastic and dazzling at the same time? Hopefully you see some large dazzles this sunrise safari. Remember, you can also ask us questions. If you are new, you can use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, and hopefully between Jamie and myself we'll be able to answer any of your ponderings about the African bush. I just want to show you this magnificent light. Look at that, isn't that just wonderful? Sun peeking up over the eastern horizon. Now we're going to continue east. We're about to go through a dip that we might have a bit of signal breakup in. So before we do that, let's jump back on board with Jamie and see what she's up to.
And while Brent makes his way to Cheetah Plains, you get to come and experience the journey to the kill site, which I have to tell you is quite the epic. And just bear with me while I keep trying to figure out exactly where it was I drove yesterday. It's all a little bit of a blur. Oh, but it's not the easiest of blocks to navigate. One of the worst parts is coming up soon, where we have to dodge the green thorn or the torchwood, which is much spikier than the bush on the right. Okay, that's going to spring back and hit Brian on the thigh, which is not what I want at all. Oh, nearly speared you. Okay, so Dina, while we attempt to make our way through here, you're going to say that food, you know that food is food, and there really wasn't much left of that kill to fight over. Absolutely. There was hardly anything of that kill left to fight for, just the sort of the legs, which is never all that interesting. Which does make me, leaf decorations, which does make me think that Mvula must have been particularly hungry, or he just happened to be in the area and instinct took over. And it was not really about how much food there was, so much as the fact that he wanted something. But it's a very good point, because there wasn't very much of it. There was some leg and a little bit of the shoulder, but all of the best bits were long gone. But then it makes me think back to that sighting that we had with Tingana and Karula. And they were actually scavenging off a buffalo carcass in the middle of a drainage line on Arathusa, so in one of those river systems again. And they were mating and they were so distracted. And there was hardly anything left of that buffalo carcass, but the next thing that Salala pride of lions descended and made their way to that particular kill, and then chased Tingana and Karula off. So it's not really about how much food there is necessarily, it's just about how hungry each party is. Now as we go in here, let's keep our eyes open. There's a very good chance that he's lurking somewhere here. And I don't want to miss him. The lovely thing about Mvula is that he is so beautifully relaxed with the vehicle. It's just a matter of spotting him, which, as you know, with leopards, is always something of an interesting experience, particularly in this vegetation. This is the easy part. This is the nice part of the block. We're about to hit the more difficult patch. Going straight east. I'm just going to concentrate on not being blinded by the sun and missing the obvious. As Taxon did say, these tracks coming straight in here. And he also told me that the hyena den is active. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry everybody. All the dust and plant matter that's coming through. Everybody watch heads. And as we hit the worst patch of this block and search for Mvula, I'm going to send you back to Brent, who has something very big and very grey for you.
Look at these beautiful elephants in this exquisite morning light. They are moving away from us, but we couldn't resist showing you with the golden light coming through the leaves. Lovely big breeding herd. And it looks like they're on a mission. They could be heading out for a drink, or they could be spreading out and starting to feed. And if, Oh, elephants everywhere. You can just hear them trumpeting. They could also be moving at speed to try and get away from a disruptive elephant bull. Like that one. There's a young bull, probably late teens, early 20s. Looks like causing havoc around the rest of the herd. And yeah, the grey hornbill's calling. And birds seem to have just found their voices. That, of course, was not a bird. That was an elephant. Huge safari live welcome to a new viewer. Warzone Maniac, welcome. Now, Warzone Maniac's wondering, how the hell do we feel safe while there are just animals all around? There could be lions under every bush. Well, we fortunately know what to do with lions, and we actually spend quite a lot of time with lions. If you keep watching, you'll actually get to see a lion probably less than 2 or 3 feet away from us. Now, in the vehicle, we're quite safe. The vehicles smell of gas and oil, and they don't have an instinctive response. The vehicle's only been around for about 100 years. So if you drive carefully, considerately, and you don't chase them with vehicles, it doesn't actually affect them. So we will continue to look for lions, and hopefully we will find one this morning. But I just need to move off the road before I cause a traffic jam, and have a quick morning meeting with Peter. Morning, 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 morning.
Morning. Hello.
How are you, sir?
Fine, you?
Very well, thank you.
Here.
Where is Nkanyin?
She's there. She came from CP side and she crossed onto.
Okay.
But maybe the Montuans is in CP. Maybe
Okay.
what she'd like to do is she'd make a loop back, maybe.
Cool, I'll go check around 3 in a row, that area.
And there was also last night some Ngala audio south, but Kashan.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks very much. Good luck, guys. Have a wonderful morning.
Okay, bye, friends.
Bye.
Cheers.
So there you go, that's Peter. He's giving me an update. So Nkanyin just crossed out of Cheetah Plains. Sad face. But as he said, the cubs could still be there. So we're going to go have a look. She quite often likes to make those loops. She leaves the cubs somewhere. And then he also said there were lions calling last night, but quite far to the south. So maybe they had a hop, a skip, and a jump and came to the north. Oh, hello, more elephants. Another young bull. Now, that young bull's probably trailing that herd we've just seen. They tend to try and stick on the peripheries. If they get too close, the big females give them a good sorting out. He's not looking too relaxed. We're not going to stay with him. You can see from his body language and the way he's moving. He's not a happy camper. So we'll move away, let him relax. It's okay, big boy. Now, you've got to be very careful with elephants, and fortunately their body language is quite distinct, and we are able to tell when they're calm or when they're very unrelaxed. That young male was very unrelaxed, so there's no point in pushing or staying with him too long. Rather give him space, let him calm down, so he doesn't develop a negative association with vehicles. So I'm just going to get an update on Nkanyini. Sorry, last station, go again. Confirm the direction of Nkanyin. Copy, thanks. Not the best news. She has decided to go visit the Kruger National Park this Father's Day. Maybe she's got a boyfriend that side. Hi, Nancy G. welcome on the back of the vehicle. Nancy would like to know, have I always wanted to be a safari guide? Well, pretty much, Nancy. I've grown up in the bush, and it was almost sort of not expected, but destined to be in the bush at some point. It doesn't matter, safari guide, concession manager, anti-poaching. I've actually done quite a few of those jobs as well. But I really do love being able to take all of you on safari and share this incredible place with all of you. Now, yesterday we saw Mvula, who used to be the dominant male leopard in these parts, but he's been pushed by Tingana, and he's actually become a nomadic male at the moment. And Deborah's wondering, do female leopards get challenged for their territory in the same way that males do? Not quite in the same way, but they will definitely have some challenges put on them. So the thing is, a female, when she has a female cub, will give away a portion of her territory to the cub when it's starting out. And you'll see that with Karula. She is surrounded by her daughters. She's got Shadow and Tundi. So as a female leopard gets older and the more cubs she has, her territory gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and she basically gets outcompeted by her daughters. Now, this isn't a bad thing. Now, for that female leopard, it means her genetic line is going to have a very strong base to work on. And that is why they do it. But it is possible for an outside female to challenge for an area. It's just more unusual to see that type of behavior. Standing by.
Brent, while he was making his way towards Cheetah Plains, went through a signal dip, and I wasn't on the car. So he went off to our tech loop. I've just done a little bit of a walk. This is where we were yesterday afternoon. The kill was, well, it started off over there where the pile of stomach contents is. Even the hyenas aren't terribly keen on that. Well, it would make sense since they can't really make any use of it with their digestive system. And then Tingana came in through those thick bushes to where the kill had been dragged to, which is over there. Now there's there's about 5 drag marks moving off, all in the same direction, which is straight towards the hyena den itself. Taxon said there's no carcass there. It's very clearly drag marks from the hyenas. Their tracks are all over it. And since then, the buffalo have actually wandered straight through this area, walked on top of everything. I don't think that Mvula is still in this area. He definitely hasn't left his tracks anywhere. Now with that, I think we have to start our departure from this particular spot, which means a couple of very tight turns and some bashing past at least, some monkey orange. Yeah, let's do this once again. I'm starting to feel very familiar with this particular patch of ground. And Shamsun, of course, the whole saga started, and the only reason I found this spot, which is really quite impenetrable, is because I followed the lionesses. Almost, but not quite. Almost made that turn. But Shamsun, good morning to you. You were wondering whether or not we ever found the lioness with the cubs. No, we still have, well, we did find her. We found the female that we think is lactating, but she was found by some of the other guides around Tambuti Dam, which is just to the northern part of our Traverse area. Sorry, Shamson, I'm just thinking, there's such a high likelihood that he is hiding somewhere in this really dense monkey orange thicket. But the thing is, so are the buffalo. I can hear the oxpeckers and I can hear them snorting off in and around these bushes. Or maybe not. Maybe he made a kill, maybe he got lucky. Let's go and see if we can't find a drag mark or something similar that might tell us what he was up to last night. Sorry everybody for the loud noises as we go through here. This was what I was saying when I said it gets worse. This is probably the worst patch of it. Now I do use the same tracks. You okay there, Brian? I use exactly the same tracks that I use to get in and out the entire time, to make sure that we minimize the impact that we are having on an area's vegetation. Whoa. There's nothing around here. So Shamsun, that's my next plan, is to go and figure out where those lionesses went from there. So they were on, they were on a property called Buffel's Hook, which is north of our Traverse area. Hopefully they haven't decided to go further north. I don't think they will have, if she does have cubs hidden somewhere in this area, but we still don't know. We still haven't confirmed that. And the mystery of it is driving me crazy. I really am desperate to know if she has cubs and where she's hiding them. Not exactly the place, but where they might be. Okay, things get a little bit easier here. The worst part is behind us, and the drag marks all head in the direction I'm heading in. That being said, I'm relatively certain the drag marks are going to go straight towards the hyena den. Hyena tracks there. I'm just trying to, this is actually quite a nice block for tracking in. It's actually quite easy. The sand is relatively soft. I'm making sure that amongst the hundreds and thousands, or what feels like hundreds of thousands, of hyena tracks, that there isn't a leopard track hiding somewhere in there as well. And if we don't have any luck here, then we'll go check the hyena den quickly, say hello to them all, and then we'll go and we'll search all around the area where he was last seen. Taxon has been doing that as well, and we haven't managed to pick up any tracks except for the tracks that Taxon had going into this block. And speaking of denning animals, a very good morning to Liz. You wanted to know if the wild dogs are denning and if we've heard where they are denning. But yes, they will be, absolutely. So, sorry. What's the matter, go away birds? I think that's just them doing their usual morning shout. It's an alarm call of a type of bird, or at least it's a call of a type of bird called a go-away bird. But it isn't accompanied by any other alarm calls. It's a wah sound. Sorry, Liz, I will get back to you in a sec. Doesn't sound frantic. It sounds just like a call between two go-away birds or a group of go-away birds. It's not an alarm call. All right, let's carry on and answer Lys's question. We'll also be distracted by the Game Drive channel because it sounds as though they found 2 male cheetah on Torchwood. And the 2 male cheetah that we see regularly. All right, Lys, while I navigate this obstacle, the wild dogs will be denning. It is their breeding time. It is their breeding season. So they will have dens somewhere. The Investic pack and the Sands pack, the 2 packs that we see regularly, I haven't heard where they have denned. There was a suspicion that the Sands pack was going to den in Ottawa. However, they haven't found that den site. There is a den site at Singita, which is a little bit further to the south of that, but I'm not sure if that's the Sands pack or a different group of individuals. And then the Investic pack, it looks as though they might. Now that's not going to be pleasant for Brian. They might have denned towards, sorry everybody, squeezing through, towards the Kruger National Park. Now the last time they were seen, they were bolting around the western plains, and I think that they might have been somewhere around there. And I just need to get back onto the Game Drive channel. I need to find out where Tax saw the lion tracks that he saw. I'm just waiting for their conversation to finish. Aha! Well, we have some exciting news. It appears as though I misheard something on the Game Drive channel. I'm going to send you over to Brent, who has got a fantastic surprise for you.
Cheetah, 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 cheetah. Isn't this exciting? Now, unfortunately, we've just got here and they are heading across our southern boundary, so let's get a little bit closer. Fortunately, we have the camera with the super zoom today, so yay! 2 male cheetah for Father's Day. And as most big cat fathers go, cheetah are only there for the making of, not the maintaining of. So there's the one. I think both are here, but I haven't seen the other one yet. Oh, there they are. Hello, boys. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, he's got a bit of a limp. And that's not uncommon with these cats. Now, this is a coalition of males. They actually look quite hungry as well. Oh, he's got a bit of a limp. And that's not uncommon with these cats. Now, this is a coalition of males. They actually look quite hungry as well. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? I hope you guys are getting some fantastic screenshots of this. Let's just move a little bit forward. Oh, isn't this just magical? Early morning cheetahs. Now hopefully they spot something back on cheetah plains. I'm just going to get up ahead and I'm going to swing in a few seconds, so we can get some beautiful light on his face. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that lovely early morning light on that gorgeous big cat. Even though they're taller than leopards, they're actually smaller in the weight department. Wow. Well, this weekend is just really, really being spectacular. Now, definitely quite sore. Ooh, he's got a sore paw. Looks like front right. Just from the way he's holding it. You can see trying not to put any weight. Now, it's very difficult to determine where that injury and what that injury is from. It could be from hunting, most likely. But the nice thing about being in a coalition is that if you're a bit sore, you've got your brother to help you out with the hunting. Oh, it looks like they might come back towards Cheetah Plains, and that's very exciting news for us. Look at that. 2 beautiful male cheetah. Now they can reach incredible speeds of about up to 17 miles an hour. And the one thing a cheetah really likes is a good termite mound, and it looks like they might climb that one right there. And oh, disappeared behind. I think we're gonna have to wait. There we go. Oh, at the top, just saw a head pop up. A few spots there. Wow. Smelling something on that termite mound. Now, cheetah love to scent mark on high ground. Termite mounds, fallen down marula trees, another favorite. And not only do they scent mark with urine, they also defecate as well, and normally defecate on high ground. And there's something very interesting smelling on that termite mound. No, don't go that way. Come back. Well, hi, Joey. Joey's in Australia, and Joey's been wondering how often do cheetah encounter other animals like lions or leopards. Probably a lot more often than we realize, Joey. The fact is that we don't actually see them too often, and if they do encounter those other animals, they tend to disappear at a rate of knots. Oh, there you go, he's popped out. Oh, there we go. I'm going to see if we have to move. Unfortunately, they are heading southwest. We will try to stick with him. I saw the other one move through there, hoping he's going to lie down in the shadows. Let's just move forward a bit. They both lie down there. There we go. They've lain down just across our southern boundary in the shade. So Shamsun was wondering how tall the cheetah get. male cheetah can be as tall as 37 inches, but generally a little bit smaller than that. And a really, really big cheetah will weigh about 150 pounds, whereas a really big leopard can weigh over 200 pounds. Well, a very good morning to Rob and Paige, who happen to be Kirsten, our director's parents, and they're watching the show this morning, and they're asking whether cheetahs are really endangered. Well, they are. It's a very interesting thing. So about 10,000 years ago, cheetahs hit a genetic bottleneck, which means they can actually genetically trace that there were less than 1,000 individuals left in the whole of Africa, and they've actually come back from that. Now, they've done some very interesting studies with skin grafts, that you can take a piece of skin from a cheetah here and graft it onto an Iranian cheetah even. So there's almost no genetic variation, which makes them very vulnerable as a species, because they do not have that sort of vast genetic code where certain have immunities to certain diseases and whatnot. So if one cheetah is unable to defend off a certain disease, all other cheetah will be prone to having that exact same disease. Now, human beings have actually increased the cheetah population recently, and areas like Namibia, and there's a very, very, very healthy cheetah population on the cattle farms. So cheetah are a bit small to take an adult cow, and they're quite skittish. You can easily chase them away with dogs and things like that. So leopards, lions, and hyenas have been removed from those areas, and the cheetahs have made a comeback. But they are truly endangered. There's not many left, and the largest meta population in Africa, when I say meta population, it's the population that holds the most genetic diversity, and it's about 400 about 400 or so, is the Lowveld of South Africa. So most people would always assume Serengeti, Botswana, Kalahari, but actually the most healthy population with the largest genetic diversity is right here where we're sitting at the moment. Now, they have gone down. There are quite a lot of people trying to get into the sighting, and we've had such a great sighting of them walking. So while they're lying flat, I'm going to let the other guys have a chance and get in here. And if there's a space a little bit later, we'll pop back in. So I'm going to say goodbye to those cheetah. Just gonna any of those other stations wanting to make their way towards the Shikankunk, I'll make space for you. Leaving Roy in the position at the moment. Okay. Hi, Jane, who's in Texas, the Lone Star State. Jane would like to know if these two boys, who are brothers, came across a female, would they fight for the mating rights over her? Now, the very interesting thing about cheetah coalitions, and unfortunately we've never seen these two boys in a situation where we're going to be able to figure out who's the dominant. And only the dominant will mate, and that other brother is happy for that, because his genetic code is still being passed on, even though he's not doing the mating itself. It is his 100% brother, so they share the same DNA. Now, cheetah coalitions are always related, unlike lions that can be unrelated. Positive. Hello. And unlike lions that can have unrelated coalitions, cheetah coalitions are always related. And cheetah are probably one of the only species, mammal species in any phase, in the world that need a male-dominated bias for successful breeding. Now, when I mean a male-dominated bias, it means that there must be more males than females. So in every other large mammal, and specifically the cats, there are always more females than males. So you have a pride of lions filled up with females, and you have a coalition of males that might have 2 or 3 prides. A male leopard will have up to 4 different females within his territory. But cheetah, they don't really have they do have territories, but it's more home ranges, and they do change quite frequently. And female cheetah are far more nomadic than the males. The males will march and march and march in their little area, or quite big area. In this area, it's probably on average around 65,000 acres per cheetah coalition. But a female cheetah needs to be stimulated by turning down 4 or 5 males before she'll mate. So that's one of the biggest challenges with cheetah as well, is that you need a lot of males, and a lot of males needs a lot of space. So if every male has 65,000 acres and a female needs to go past 4 males before she mates, we're now already looking at, I mean, what's that, 240,000 acres just to create one set of cubs. So it's really fascinating. Now, I know quite a few people might not like this, but cheetah are going to be one of those failed branches of the evolutionary tree, like saber-toothed cats or giant hyenas, and they're probably going to go extinct all by themselves. And if anything, human beings have made them survive a lot longer. Oh, it's my friend! I haven't seen him in so long! Gnorman the GNU! He's lost all his ladies. Last time I saw him, he was in the pound seat. Lots of ladies surrounding him. Now, Gnormless has gone back to defending his patch of territory from any other interloping males like Normal Norman, who lives on the next clearing. But there we go, Gnormless. And the rutting season for wildebeest has ended, so he's not so worried about keeping all the ladies. And looks like he's enjoying a lovely early morning sunbathe, warming up after that chilly night. Well, let's leave Gnormless to enjoy the sunshine, and we're going to continue on checking towards the Cheetah Plains pan, and then from there I think we might check 3 in a row pan. I'm feeling lucky. Oh! One should look further than looking just at Gnormless. I said Gnormless was without lady friends. Gnormless, I apologize. Gnormless is still the stud of the Cheetah Plains open area, keeping all the ladies to himself. Here we go. A lovely herd of wildebeest. Now, they probably have just finished the rutting season, so they've just finished mating. But these short grass plains are still holding quite a bit of nutrients, and that's what's bringing these wildebeest back and back here. And that's why Gnormless and Normal both have such great territories for this part of the world. And they don't want to have a territory that's in the thickets. They want to have a territory on nice short grass plains. And wildebeest are very picky eaters, and they like short grass. Now we're going to go see if we can find any sign of leopards on the northern part of Cheetah Plains. While we do that, let's go see what Jamie's been up to while we've been frolicking about on the plains.
And what a wonderful frolic it sounds like. Cheetah have made their way back towards Cheetah Plains. It's terribly exciting. Now, while you've been with Brent, I've picked up on a set of very fresh female leopard tracks coming towards Buffelshoek Dam. There's also several fresh lion tracks coming towards Buffelshoek Dam, so it's all become a little bit confusing. Tax has found where the females crossed over back into Torchwood, but there's still male tracks that remain unresolved. Plus now we've got these leopard tracks wandering in here, and we've got all makes for a very, very exciting mix of what we could see. And I think getting to see the 3 big cats in one morning, what do you say, Brian? Yeah, why not? And a very big Father's Day shout out to Jerry's father. Jerry, of course, works for Wild Earth as our fantastic producer. Also, sometimes with her exceptionally far better than my taste in clothes. She's also my assistant when it comes to making sure I look relatively neat. But Jerry sends out a Father's Day message to her dad, Mark, who I've met. Hi, Mark. Jerry says she loves you very much and thank you for watching our show. It's fantastic to have you on board. It's a lovely message. Don't forget to send through your Father's Day shout-outs to all of your dads. I'll do one for my dad at some point. Probably, yes. You see, you should still be watching. I just want to make sure that I don't miss out on finding these lions first. Okay. It's a bit tricky. There's been quite a lot of vehicle traffic along this road this morning. The lion tracks are going straight here, and I don't know where they've gone since. They've been driven over, as have our leopard tracks, sadly. But the good news is that we've got Herbert and Johnson as well to help us find tracks, because we can't really be off the vehicle for too long. We've got them to help us follow the tracks that we find. I have a suspicion that these lions are somewhere very close to Buffelshoek Dam. They've been hanging around here a lot. And the fact that there's actually only one set of tracks crossing back into Torchwood from the females. Let's check something here. I don't think it's exciting as it looks. No, it's just hooves falling on top of each other. Just go and investigate. Now those female leopard tracks could also be Karula's tracks. She does come all the way north up in this direction, so it is entirely possible. In which case she's going to start making a beeline south to where her cubs are. That of course is if it is Karula, but it makes sense. This is one of her spots. It is within the boundaries of her territory or her home range. And Karula does cover tremendous amounts of distance, as can all leopards, but I've noticed it particularly with Karula. And just chatting a bit about leopards, and of course there was the dramatic scenes yesterday with Sindile and Shadow, his mother, and Shadow's brand new cub, and everybody I think feeling very torn in that situation as to how that's played out. And it's a situation that I've never experienced before. I've never been involved in a sighting like that where a young male has been removed for good reason from a wild area and kept in quarantine and then been re-released back into the same area. I've never in all my time in the bush ever experienced a situation like that. But Christopher wants to know whether or not Sindile will ever carve out his own shadow, or his own territory, not his own shadow, Shadow's his mum, or if he will be forever nomadic. And absolutely he could carve out his own territory. Not yet. He's still too young. He's going to have to remain somewhat nomadic, basically what's known as a dispersal male. He's going to have to go off, keep hiding, keep himself safe and away from other male leopards, and wait until he is big enough and strong enough to compete for his own territory. And that will probably only happen when he's around 5 years old, maybe even a little bit older, depending on how fast he grows. He's got good chances though. I mean, there's a chance that either Tingana or Anderson is Sindile's father, which does mean that he's got some good genetic prospects in terms of size. And that is basically what matters in terms of a young leopard establishing themselves a territory. I'm hopeful. I think he could well. The chances are though, when he does establish his territory, it could be miles away from where we are now. Generally that's the idea. The females stay closer to their mothers, and the male cubs, once they have dispersed, cover enormous distances. In one case, a good couple of 100 kilometers of distance before the male in question settled down and established themselves a territory. Okay, so we've got to look for spotted cats and tawny cats. We've got prospects of both here. And I don't see either. I do see a plover, and that is it. As you can see, most of you know by now that there's been some, what did we call it? Some renovations. Thank you, Brian. I couldn't think of the word. I was struggling there. Renovations. Thank you very much. There have been some renovations to our various water holes. We can now drive across the bridges or the dam walls. And we've got nice open spaces. And by the looks of things, I might even be able to go and investigate that block that is to the north of Buffelshoek Dam. And I'm thinking perhaps that might be a good idea, because that is where the tracks disappear into. So perhaps we should just go and have a look. There you go. The animals love that particular spot. It's nice and sheltered, but it's also close to water. I think let us go and investigate that side of things. Let's see how far that road extends. I'm curious now. But before we do, just because they've been quite entertaining, it's always fun to just sit and watch hornbills plucking their way through elephant dung. In this case, a red-billed hornbill, very much focused on plucking out anything he can find. And of course, he's searching mainly in these piles of dung, he's searching mainly for the termites that will start to deconstruct the elephant dung. Not just that, sometimes they get really lucky, they get a bonanza, and they have the prospect of a dung beetle larvae in the dung as well. Because not all of our dung beetle species actually bury the balls that they make. Some of them just lay their eggs in dung balls and leave them to fend for themselves. I always enjoy watching hornbills because the most fascinating part is the movement of their head and the way that they make up for the blind spot that runs straight down the center of the beak. Plucking away. And there was something so prehistoric as well about the way that they run. Okay, let's go and investigate this road that runs up the other side of Buffelshoek Dam. If we can, of course. I've just realized I might be approaching from the wrong angle, but let's see. While we continue on and search the northern side of Buffelshoek Dam, let's head back to Brent and Cheetah Plains to see what he's snacking on for breakfast.
Of course, I was caught eating my nachi. Now, nachi is a truly South African word. I'm not actually quite sure. I think, from what I understand, what you guys call nachis in North America, I'm not sure what they call them in Europe. It's a clementine. But I'd never heard that word till the other day. It's like a mini orange, but it's easier to peel. But very, very tasty. And one of the nice things about living in the Lowveld is not very far from us. So it's probably one of the biggest fruit producing areas in South Africa. So in this area we produce a lot of avocados, nachis, oranges, lemons, mangoes, What else? Bananas. Yes, there is. Jean-Andre's got a banana for his snack while on drive. I don't think I've ever met someone who loves bananas as much as Jean-Andre, though. He even sings about them when we're off air. Jean-Andre, would you like to give us a little verse of your favorite song?
Put a banana in your ear.
Put a banana in your ear.
Put a ripe banana right into your favorite ear. It's true, so true. When you're down and feeling blue.
I said one verse. So the problem when Jean-Andre starts singing, he doesn't stop. But there we go. There's Jean-Andre's favorite song. Put a ripe banana in your favorite ear. How and where this song comes from, I have no idea. I'm completely flummoxed about what I was going to say next.
It works, I promise you. If you're feeling sad, just put a banana in your ear.
There we go. Apparently, if you're feeling sad, put a banana in your ear. But there we go. But in the Western Cape, they produce a lot of other fruit, and apples, grapes, and we've just spotted. Oh, there's another one there. I'm just trying to see which is going to be the best one. A really beautiful, beautiful bird. Is it going to lovely land out in the sunshine for us? And it looks like it's got a worm. Oh no, don't fly away, you evil creature. There we go. Oh. Now, it used to be called a red-billed woodhoopoo. Oh, he does have a little caterpillar. Oh, isn't that stunning? You can see the iridescence coming off the sunshine, little white bars in the tail. Oh, off it goes. If I remember correctly now, it's called, not a violet woodhoopoo, a green woodhoopoo. So it's got that sort of greeny blue sheen to it. They are incredible. They live in little flocks. And if we keep quiet, oh, there it is again. Oh, and off it goes again. There's another one on the ground. Oh, where's my hand? They've got the most incredible call. And there we go. There it is. The most incredible call. Ooh. And you can see that recurved sort of scimitar-like bill. That's specially designed for being able to get through the cracks under bark, get into little holes. And one of their favorite foods is, of course, caterpillars. As we saw, that one had one. But also wood borer beetles, and that beak is specially designed for removing those borer beetles from the wood. Now, the Zulu name for them is actually quite funny. It's called a hlegawafaz. Basically means a cackling or laughing woman. And their call is quite incredible, and it's very loud and carries on for a long time. And the whole joke is that when the Zulu ladies... Oh, no, that's a red-billed buffalo weaver juvenile without the red bill yet. Nice camera work, Jean-Andre. So, we've already done the big cats, so let's see if we can get our birders a few more ticks on their list. And there's some incredible birders on the live safaris. I mean, there's people sitting with over 230 species. And if you're still building your list, let me know. Not your nest. Thinking about birds. Let me know. And let us know how your bird list is going. Like that. Searching. Oh, there we go. Oh, got one. And remember, if you want to let me know about your bird list, hashtag Safari Live. How many birds are on your bird list? Or if you're missing a particular species you would really like to see, also pop that on with the hashtag Safari Live, and we will try our best to find you that particular species you might be missing. Oof. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Off they go. Nice camera work by Jean-Andre. Of course, filming birds live is a new challenge unto itself, and we're very lucky to have the incredible camera crew we do. Not only do they have to film the animals and the birds live, they got to try follow our voice right on the edge of that marula. Zoom. A little bit to the left. There we go. Oh, there's a little flycatcher there for a second. We'll see if we can get another view of it. Now, the nice thing about Cheetah Plains has definitely helped quite a few people's bird lists. We've seen some lark and pipit species that we don't really see on Djuma on these nice open plains. Oh, there's the cackling. Oh, now they go quiet. But there's that cackling where the woodhoopers get their Zulu name from. Let's see if they do it again. Oh, not wanting to cackle for us again. So the Zulu story goes is that it sounds like ladies when they were working. There it is. So the story is that it sounds like ladies working in the field. So while they're harvesting, Zulu ladies can be quite vocal and they laugh and tell lots of jokes. So that's where their Zulu name comes from. They're just keeping ahead of us. And I can hear some other bird species around. There's a cackle. Well, no, they're keeping quite weak. I can hear another bird in this weeping. There we go. Jean-Re's got a fork-tailed drongo as well as the woodhoopoo. I hear another bird. Oh. But they are disappearing. As again, remind me what your bird list's at, and if there's a particular species you're looking for, also let us know. #SafariLive. But in the meantime, let's move away from our feathered friends to a large mammal.
A couple of large mammals actually, enjoying a various breakfast snack around the bush willows and knobthorns of this area. Definitely no sign of our leopards and lions, but I did discover that the road took me all the way back north from Buffelshoek Dam to our northernmost boundary, which was really useful to know. The animals absolutely love to use that road, and there are just tracks everywhere. But in the meantime, we asked yesterday morning about whether or not we could actually track individual antelope as well as leopards or lions. And I said that probably we could, but we're just seriously out of practice in that sense, since we don't really focus on tracking the individual animals, the individual antelope at least. That being said, I spent a few weeks, a couple of months ago, tracking groups of kudu like this one, because all of the kudu in that particular group were exceptionally pregnant. And it actually led to some incredibly rewarding sightings of the young kudu calves stumbling about and taking their first steps into the world. Incredibly special moments that we get to experience on these live safaris. I think kudu might be one of my I don't know. I'm going to stop trying to say which antelope are my favourite and which ones aren't. I give up trying to pick them. I definitely think the bushbuck is high up on my list. The nice thing about kudu, though, is the more you look, the more kudu you see. But they're not territorial, and they're not really herd animals in the same sense that an impala or those wildebeest that you saw earlier with Brent are. They form what's similar to giraffe. They form what's known as aggregations. There's no set pattern to it. Often the females will stay with their mothers for an extended period of time. Or the males might come and associate with the female groups every now and again. Other than that, completely peaceful, not territorial at all, unlike the wildebeest that you saw with Brent. And exceptionally elegant animals. There's a young male that's slowly making his way after the rest of them. Look at how skinny he is compared to a big male kudu with their enormously thick necks and long horns. He's got an almost female-sized neck. Sorry, boy, not meant to insult you. I'm sure you're going to be gorgeous when you're older. But now he's just quite a lot more gangly than an adult male kudu. Okay, let's move on, I think, and go and check the areas around Buffelshoek Dam. I'm sure these lions are in here somewhere, and I know that this female leopard must be in here somewhere. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly where they are. Sorry, kudu. Come through slowly. Slowly, slowly. What we can do since our kudu have moved off, give you a nice example of what a kudu track looks like. Since we don't often stop for antelope tracks, and I said that we could, if we felt like it, or if we learned to, look at individual antelope tracks. Do you think you can get there, Brian? Here we go. Let me jump out and just show you quickly exactly what a kudu track looks like, because it's not terribly easy to see in the sand. But they're a lot smaller. Whoops, lost my hat. They're a lot smaller than you expect them to be for an antelope of this size. Best one, this one, Brian? Yep. Cool. So if you have a look here, they're very, very small. They're about the length of my finger, which isn't particularly large when you think about the fact that a lion, which is probably not that far off the weight of a kudu, has a paw the size of my entire hand. Very heart-shaped, slight rim walker. In other words, the edges of the track are very, very defined, as is the sort of the hump in the middle, the gap between the two halves of the hoof. And very often with antelope, when they move through thick sand like this, then you'll get a slight scuff mark where they've dragged their toes. Another thing that's very distinctive of an impala track is that it will do what's known as basically partially registering. So the back track falls essentially on the front track, only leaving a little bit, tiny little bit, of the side of the front track sticking out, but the back track mainly obscures it. And you'll find that something like that, an approach to striding like that, is what will tell you a great deal about the way that an animal lives. So not all of the antelope species do it, but something like a kudu that is adapted for subtlety and secrecy and hiding in thick vegetation, and nyala and bushbuck, they all register because it's quiet. So you minimize the amount of noise that you're going to make, because if your front foot has stepped on a stick, your back foot falls in the same place, so it doesn't step, the stick's already broken, it doesn't run the risk of stepping on another stick somewhere else and making more noise. So it's just quiet. It's the same thing the big cats do. So antelope register just like big cats. We just don't often stop to have a look at the track. The nyala track, in comparison, is where I know this is a kudu track because I just watched the kudu walk across the road, but nyala tracks and kudu tracks are very, very similar. And I can't claim to be, I've learned now, but it took me a while to learn how to tell the difference between them. It's not always that easy. All right, continue on our lion search. As we circle around there and talk about our different antelope species, Marianne is wondering a little bit about our zebra, which are of course the odd-toed ungulates versus our even-toed, our antelope and our bovids, our even-toed ungulates. And Marianne, good morning, and as always, welcome to the Sunrise Safari. You wanted to know whether or not we get Grevy's zebra out here. And the answer is no, we don't. The only species of zebra that we get out here is called a plain zebra, or a Burchell zebra. Now, I bet many of you didn't realize that there are actually different species of zebra. If you're watching for the first time, it's not really something that people talk about. Here's my leopard tracks, by the way. Sorry, just to show you something interesting, because these are relatively fresh. Sorry, Marianne, I will get back to you in a moment. I just want to get out and I want to circle these for Herbert and for Johnson at a later date. Beautiful little female leopard tracks. Now, I know that Brent's already spoken about female leopard tracks today, so I'm not going to linger for too long with them. I just want to go circle the last track, which is I never actually stop and look when I'm getting out of the car, and I probably should, is here. Okay, it's there. I'll stop now. Amazing what our instinct is as soon as we see a set of tracks like this that are so beautifully fresh, and on top of most of the vehicle tracks, your instinct is to just start walking in that direction, but I won't. We'll go to Cheetah Cutline and see if they don't pop out there. I think she's crossed one of the roads up ahead, but because there's been so much vehicle traffic this morning around that area, I think she's probably moved on. And if it is Karula, she's going to be on a mission. She's going to be wanting to get back to her cubs. That's why I stopped to check around here to just see if she hasn't hidden a kill somewhere in this vicinity. And now has to go all the way back to fetch her cubs. It's far. It's probably a good 3 or so miles. I suppose that's nothing for a leopard. And even for a leopard cub. All right, let's go search. Let's go figure out if that's what's happening here. Sorry, Marianne. I completely got distracted from your question. Zebras, Grevy's zebra, the only place you will find them is up towards eastern Africa. So it's not a species of zebra that we find not only in the Sabi Sands but also in South Africa in general. South Africa only has 2 species, the one that we see, the plain zebras, and then the Cape Mountain or the mountain zebra, which are also critically endangered species. We don't find them here. As the name suggests, you'll be more likely to find them around the Cape or the Western Cape areas. I have a sneaky suspicion the lions have got a kill in here somewhere, and that that set of tracks that Taxon found was just the female going back to suckle her cubs. Let's go and investigate and see whether I'm correct. There's just so many lion tracks wandering about, and there's too few tracks popping out. So while I go and investigate and try and work out exactly what's going on with our lions and leopards, let's head back to Brent and find out how his scouring of Cheetah Plains is going.
Now, we had that report about Nkanyin crossing into Nkoro, so it's quite likely she might have left her cubs in this area. So we're just doing a quick scope around, seeing if we can see any tracks. It flew away very fast, unfortunately. There was a beautiful bird called the black-headed oriole. Now, I still haven't heard from you. What birds are you missing on your lists? Remember, hashtag Safari Live, and we'll see if we can find it. Now, Aaron has decided to make it a little bit difficult. Now, he is from New Zealand, so that explains why it's difficult. He'd like to see a fish eagle, and it's his favorite bird. Unfortunately, we don't have any big bodies of water. I mean, there's always a chance when we go across to Arathusa that there might be a fish eagle taking advantage of those catfish stuck in the mud. But at the moment where we're moving it, it's going to be quite difficult. But you never know, we might find one flying over between bodies of water. Chris Rogue, 235. That is incredible. That's Chris's bird species number. Now, these are male leopard tracks I've spotted here. Yeah. Looks like, there we go. And these look quite fresh. And I'm hoping maybe it's Mr. Quarantine. And they're heading towards a 3 in a row pan, which is a well-known hangout for Mr. Quarantine. Wouldn't that be fantastic to see him again? I've only seen him once down here on Cheetah Plains since he sort of left Djuma. And he moves between Nkoro, Cheetah Plains and Torchwood. Make sure he's still there, and that he is.